Hello, UCAR. Peter Christensen here, coming to you from the CEO's desk. We are continuing on with our hypo madness until the end of the year, maybe beyond. So we're going to actually continue and build off the last video. If you're watching this out of order, we'll put a link to the previous video. We talked about a scenario with vacant land for sale and you're representing a buyer. Okay, so here's the variation. Here's the new hypo. You are approached electronically, meaning not in person, not by voice, but email, whatever, about a listing opportunity. And again, it's vacant land, it's a lot, and the seller is a motivated seller and wants to list it for slightly lower. You do a little homework. You look at the records. Names match up from the seller and the property records. And so you go forward and you put together offers, you get the offers, you get them under contract, you do some sort of remote closing and remote settlement, and the funds go, and it turns out it's a bogus seller, right? It's a scam, and those funds may or may not be recoverable once they're wired. And so I know it sounds like, well, you're going to figure this out, wouldn't you? Well, this is happening. And this is one of the more sophisticated fraud schemes that's going on out there now. They're not using Google Translate anymore and mistranslating half the English language, but these are being very sophisticated, producing false IDs, communicating specifics about properties. If you think about it, you can get a lot of information online. So about a vacant lot, about an area. So again, I asked I've talked to some people about this happening and asked them what alerted them to it, and they again said you got to listen to your instincts. So when something doesn't sort of start to feel right about it, you can't put it together. There's nothing like on paper that you say, well, that's completely off. It's just the feeling of something's not quite right here. Don't ignore that. Follow up, follow through. And again, similar advice to the representing a buyer on this one. When you're working with the seller, ask specifics. And this is a couple questions I had recommended were, if it's in an HOA, do you have keys to the pool? Do you have access to the club? What are your HOA fees? Start asking specifics. Even if maybe you have the answer to some of these questions, ask some specifics so that they will then have to respond. I've even heard of them going and calling the HOA, the fraudulent seller, calling the HOA to try to find out, do we have access to that? So they're going to be very sophisticated, but just do your best to try to verify. And if you have no contact with the person, then I think you're smart to be extra suspicious and try to verify, get as much information as you can, and ask a lot of questions, and don't ignore the red flags. Hopefully this doesn't happen to you. It's a tough scheme to pull off, but we've had it happen in Utah. So, and it's happening nationwide. And so be aware that it's out there, that these things are going on. So don't be caught off guard. Don't ignore your instincts. Do your homework. Remember, this is not legal advice. This is legal information only. If you need specific legal advice, please contact your attorney. Thanks for tuning in.